Welcome to Fanfiction Audiobook. Marvel Super Extraction. Chapter 1, I Was Asleep by Iron Man. If you give you a chance to cross the Marvel, are you willing? Whether. Zhang Yuanzhen looked at these prompts popping up on his computer screen, and his mood was quite angry. Although it is normal to poison the seeds on the website, it seems that the 80-gram seeds that I downloaded have already reached 99% of the seeds, and it will be successful soon. At this moment, the computer suddenly poisoned. Zhang Yuan still followed. The dog is generally uncomfortable. Zhang Yuan, who did not want to think about it, first pulled out the computer's network plug. Regardless of whether it is poisoned, unplugging the network, and disconnecting the network, this can effectively guarantee the security of 1 TB of resources in his computer. After unplugging the net, Zhang Yuan did not use the mouse to point out what is right or not, but directly forced to shut down by pressing the computer's shutdown button. But Zhang Yuan was stupid when shutting down. No matter how compulsory the power button is, he can't turn off the computer. Sure enough, it is poisoned. I still don't believe that you can't close you. Zhang Yuan blackened his face and unplugged the computer. Then the scene of Zhang Yuan's shock appeared, and the computer was still not closed. Seeing such a situation, Zhang Yuan was not shaken by the self-imposed tremors, and then quickly took the mobile phone on the side, opened the web link Emperor, quickly typed a line, and also took the computer desktop down. Posting, suddenly meet the opportunity to cross, what should I do, online urgently? Quick return. What are you waiting for, just pass through. Through without hesitation. Is it a demon spirit? Someone has ran out of the Castle Peak Psychiatric Hospital. The landlord, can you cross the team, ask for it. Buy +1. The landlord's PS technology needs to be strengthened. Zhang Yuan posted only out of habits. Nowadays, in the era of big networks, it's just normal to take a street shot, WeChat, and friends circle. This transcendence has always been a matter of being ridiculed by the people and thinking that it is impossible to really exist. Now it really appears in front of Zhang Yuan, and his mood can be imagined how excited. Sending a post is also a first pressure, and by the way, after the computer is unplugged, it is a virtual power, or it is really a problem. Slightly read the comments, waited for a few minutes, make sure that the desktop computer is really unable to turn off the power, followed Zhang Yuan in the post below the reply, the landlord habitual single super god, do not like to team, so the landlord going alone. After making this reply, Zhang Yuan ordered the yes displayed on the desktop computer. Call out. In the next second, I saw that the suction suddenly came from the computer screen, and turning into a black hole would be used to the computer toward the computer. Suddenly the paper fluttered inside the room. Sure enough, it is crossing. Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed in the eyes, and did not resist anything. Followed by Zhang Yuan, it was absorbed into the computer. When Zhang Yuan appeared again, it appeared in a room with a decorative machine sci-fi and extremely luxurious. On the surrounding walls, there are some virtual projections. It hurts, who is swearing at me? Zhang Yuan swayed his own painful head, then opened his eyes, subconsciously bursting, and then, lying trough. Curse from the mouth of Zhang Yuan, while the sounds came out, the sound of the object was thrown to the ground. Zhang Yuan's mood will be quite bad. Although in the current situation, I really crossed. But after he passed through, he was sleeping with a man. What is the bad situation? Can you become a sister paper? Or just passed through, and you are forced to bend? Either way, the ending is pretty bad. Zhang Yuan has already begun to consider this, whether he wants to buy a piece of tofu and die. Good morning, Master Zhang Yuan, I am your life manager Jarvis. When Zhang Yuan was excited, a mechanical voice suddenly sounded in the room. Zhang Yuan, what are you doing? With the mechanical sound, with the only person on the ground who was kicked on the ground by Zhang Yuan, it would climb from the bed and watch it silently. Zhang Yuan. This is a middle-aged man with jujube-colored hair, a westerner face, and a handsome man with a mustache. At this time, the middle-aged uncle was very dissatisfied and looked at Zhang Yuan. Tony Stark. Looking at the other side of the moment, Zhang Yuan recognized each other. You asked me if he asked me. In the next second, Zhang Yuan violently bounced off the bed, then rushed to Tony Stark to control who he was, and then screamed. Hey! When the sneak attacked Tony Stark was too late, his eyes slammed into a punch and suddenly became a panda eye. Shit, Zhang Yuan, are you crazy? Although Howard's old mix left a message before the egg died, let me take care of you, but it does not mean that you can beat me like this, but my brother. Tony Stark angry said to Zhang Yuan, and immediately responded. The two were beaten together in an instant. After 15 minutes, the two separated and appeared in a living room. At this time, the small pepper was wearing a professional attire and was giving coffee to two people. That is, Zhang Yuan, you misunderstood Tony's swearing at you last night. The little pepper made a coffee for two people, and asked why the two men were fighting, then smiled at Zhang Yuan road, you and Tony last night. I am drunk with each other, and I will bring you together for the convenience of you. Zhang Yuan. Chapter 2, Extracting Aunt Jean. When Xiao Jiao explained to Zhang Yuan at this time also figured out his current situation. He remembered that he had become the younger brother of Tony Stark after he crossed the world. He is Howard Stark, and a child born in Asia, is a mixed race. Howard's old-fashioned, when the egg is alive, it is private. It is nothing more than Tony Stark. Only in the story of Marvel himself, Howard did not accidentally make a life, or made it out, and it was properly solved. But now Zhang Yuan has passed through, but it has become the younger brother of Tony Stark, the full name, Zhang Yuan, Stark. Occupy 10% of Stark Industries. What do you think of this kid all the time? Let you go out with me and confuse, you have not agreed, and now it is still a place. The man does not say, even misunderstood your brother, I will do that kind of thing for you. Tony Stark used his eggs to put on his dark eyes, and said to Zhang Yuan without a good gas. Who makes you private students are so chaotic, who knows if you are interested in men, and you can't say that you have been peeping at the body of this handsome young man. Zhang Yuan glanced at Tony History. Tucker, he said guilty. You, this is filthy, just like your little chicken body, how can I see it? Tony Stark glanced at Zhang Yuan. So if I am physically strong, you can see it, Tony, you really have problems. Zhang Yuan Deo. Tony Stark almost didn't squirt a blood. Forget it, ignore you, right? Tomorrow, there is a weapons briefing in Afghanistan. The Afghan military wants to buy the equipment of our Stark industry. It was originally decided by me, but now my eyes are being smashed by you. It's like this, tomorrow's explanation will be up to you. It's just that you should go out and make a debut. Since you were an adult, you haven't been responsible for everything in Stark Industries. Stark Industries has your shares in it anyway, and you're going to have a chance to do it all the time. I know that the house is at home. Tony Stark glanced at Zhang Yuan and said. Afghanistan weapons briefing. Zhang Yuan's pupil slammed and subconsciously asked, is the weapon introduction of the Jericho missile series? Well, it seems that you still have something to do with the group. Tony Stark smiled and nodded. Don't go. After receiving the answer from Tony Stark, Zhang Yuan, who almost did not want to, refused to shake his head. He remembered very clearly that Tony Stark was attacked by terrorists when he went to Afghanistan for a weapons briefing and was arrested. Although there is one more time in this time, Stark Industries. But the plot will not change. Even if he is not as valuable as Tony Stark, but it is also a Stark family, with a stake in Stark Industries, once it is arrested is sure. Why don't you go? Zhang Yuan, are you ready to continue this way, so you have to help me share it? Tony Stark did not breathe at Zhang Yuan. If you don't go, don't go. Zhang Yuandao. No, you have to go this time, big deal, we will go together tomorrow, things will be fixed. If you don't go, I will freeze your bank card. Tony Stark said. Horizontal slot, you are a threat. Although Zhang Yuan does not know how much money is in his bank card, the money in the bank card of Tony Stark is certainly quite a lot. You can think so, although you are already an adult, but you know my ability. Tony Stark smiled. Cut. Zhang Yuan licked his mouth, followed him and stood up, then went outside the door. Zhang Yuan, where are you going? Tony Stark asked subconsciously. Go out quiet. Zhang Yuandao. After going out the door, Zhang Yuan's brow wrinkled. No matter whether he could go or not, Tony is now his brother. Once he is arrested in Afghanistan, it will be fine at the end, but he will eventually give Tony. If you have a life-threatening problem, you must find a way to avoid it. But how can this help Tony? The best way is of course to stop Tony from going to Afghanistan. But fear is not necessarily successful. Tony is a guy who looks very fancy. But once things are certain, there will be very little change. I thought that Zhang Yuan had no clue for a long time, and simply walked out of the villa. I have to say that Tony is very happy to enjoy this villa. The seaside villa in this residence is quite good. It is simply the life of a big dog. Okay. When Zhang Yuan looked around, suddenly a very strong impulse was generated in his body, letting him subconsciously look at the ground on the left side. There is an ant in that place. When the line of sight fell on the ant, the strong impulse actually drove him to swallow the swallow, as if the ant had become a super delicious, and his body was completely out of control. What is this situation? Zhang Yuan was shocked. He didn't have any interest in eating ants or anything. However, the strong urge to swallow was so that he could not help but walk to the position of the ant, then caught the ants in his hands and then dropped them into his mouth. Hey! Zhang Yuan blurted his voice. I found the ant gene, whether to randomly extract the ant ability. Also in Jianjia Yuan's Big Bang, a mechanical scream sounded in his mind. Golden finger! Zhang Yuan's eyes slammed brightly, and then did not hesitate to say, extract. Extracting the ant gene, whether it is fusion. The mechanical voice said again. Chapter 3, Power Surge. Strong gene. This gene is good, what are you waiting for, and the rapid integration. Zhang Yuan answered without hesitation, how to help Tony, after all, Tony will go to Afghanistan tomorrow. With the ability, how to say can also change the abduction of Tony's sad reminder to a certain extent. Friendship is improved, and the integration will make the body suffer from certain conditions. Please find a place that is not disturbed, relatively quiet and safe. The sound of the pickup sounds again. Let's wait a moment. Zhang Yuan replied quickly, then he quickly walked toward the villa. Zhang Yuan, it's good to come back, breakfast, what are you going to eat? Tony saw Zhang Yuan coming back, sitting on the sofa and watching some morning news today, while talking to Zhang Yuan. I won't eat breakfast, I have some things, then if you hear some strange sounds, don't be surprised. Zhang Yuan shook his head at Tony, and then walked back to his room according to memory. During the walking process, there were some safety certifications passed by Jarvis. Jarvis is the smart butler of the villa, and the security gate has to get its authorization. Jarvis, to enhance the sound insulation of the room. Zhang Yuan said to the air opening after arriving at the room. Good young Zhang Yuan. Jarvis answered. Then Zhang Yuan did not see any changes in his room, but Jarvis responded, and there must be changes. He lay on G and then tried to open his mouth and asked, Hey, who, I am talking, can you hear it? Host, I can hear it. The mechanical voice replied. Very good, immediately give me a fusion. Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed in the eye, without any hint of water. What? Almost at the moment of Zhang Yuan's command, Zhang Yuan screamed and screamed. He only felt that his body was suddenly itching, and even if he had prepared in advance, he could not bear it, so that he could not wait to faint. But this pain is just on the verge of his fainting past. Who can I faint me? Zhang Yuan asked secretly. The more you can withstand the pain, the more you can maximize the fusion of genetic power. The mechanical voice said again. Oh, I know. Zhang Yuan's weak voice should be heard, and then strong support. Fortunately, although this pain is very terrible, it is less than 5 minutes. However, although it was only less than 5 minutes, Zhang Yuan felt that he had experienced the 18-layer torture in the hell. The whole body was collapsed and the whole body was beaten by sweat. That feeling is really terrible. In particular, it is obvious that he can feel the pain because it can make him faint in the past, but he is faint and uncomfortable, and it makes him uncomfortable. Master Zhang Yuan, seeing your situation is very bad now, need me to inform Mr. Tony them? Jarvis's voice suddenly sounded in the room again. No, my situation is very good. Zhang Yuan weakly responded. Master Zhang Yuan, are you sure? Jarvis. Well, I am sure. Zhang Yuan responded, then forced to stand up from the G, and then trembled toward the individual bathing room. This will make his body slimy, and it also gives off a stench that makes him quite uncomfortable. This smell is so smoked that he wants to vomit. 10 minutes later, Zhang Yuan came out of the bathroom. I only feel that I am refreshed. At this time he stood in front of the floor mirror and was looking at the people in the mirror. I saw the mirror inside is a beautiful mixed-race face that blends Westerners and Orientals, a knife-like face, a deep star, a good-looking nose, and if this face runs to a mixed bar, a nightclub, or something, Zhang Source feels that it is easy to hook up. In addition, the human arm in the mirror and the abdomen have beautiful muscles, which are completely streamlined muscles. With a little effort, Zhang Yuan can feel the power of his body. This strength is stronger than when he just passed through, it is not known how many times stronger. However, at this time, this force is not well controlled. In the process of taking a bath, he broke the door handle and controlled the water switch. Fortunately, Jarvis could carry out intelligent water cut. Chapter 4, Going to Afghanistan with Iron Man. According to the mechanics, an ant can lift more than 400 times its own weight, and can haul objects that are more than 1,700 times its own weight. Harvard University entomologist Mark Morfitt is an Asian ant. According to his observations, more than 10 united ants are able to remove more than 5,000 times their own body weight or other foods, which is equivalent to 10 tons of average weight of 70 kilograms. The heavy object, that is, the average person carrying 350 tons per person, from the perspective of relative strength, the ant is a well-deserved powerhouse. Why do small ants have such power? Scientists have done a lot of research and analysis to prove that ants are a treasure house of miniature animal nutrition. Each 100 grams of ants can produce 2,929 kilojoules, 700 kilocalories, of heat. Scientists it is found that the ant's leg muscles are a highly efficient engine. This muscle engine is composed of billions of subtle small engines, so ants can produce such extraordinary power. At this time, Zhang Yuan extracted the ant vigorous gene theory. He can also lift things that are 400 times their weight. However, the human body and the ants are different after all. Although Zhang Yuan can feel that his body has been transformed with the extraction of genes, and there have been earth-shaking changes, this body contains enormous power, but Zhang Yuan does not think that he can play such a strong force. As for how strong it is, the next step is to try it. You have to find a partner to adapt this sudden surge of strength. Now, if you don't pay attention, you can kill yourself. Zhang Yuan shook his fist and felt his power. Follow the carefully dressed clothes. But even if he was very careful, but the power of the skyrocket was too difficult to control, he still let him tear his clothes into pieces. After destroying several sets of clothes in succession, Zhang Yuan was barely successful wearing a pair of sports shorts and sports vests, and then went to the gym of the villa. After entering the gym, Zhang Yuan aimed at the dumbbells on the ground. What 10 kilograms, 20 kilograms of Zhang Yuan directly ignored, suddenly aimed at the 30 kilograms plus dumbbells, and then held the lever with one hand, lifted it up. Although Zhang Yuan had already prepared for lifting the dumbbells, it was clear that his strength was soaring, that he could easily pick up 40 kilograms of dumbbells, but Zhang Yuan did not expect it to be so easy. 30 kilograms of dumbbells were held in the hands and there was no feeling for Zhang Yuan. Call out! Zhang Yuan suddenly shakes his dumbbells to the sky, and when he falls, he grabs it with one hand. The ability to extract this gene is simply a bunker. Zhang Yuan's mouth smacked a smile, then forced to throw a few times, followed by the sight of the ground 40 kilograms, 50 kilograms, and the strongest a 60 kilogram of dumbbells above. The 60 kilograms of dumbbells, in the memory of Zhang Yuan, was also bought by Tony's guy. It can't be used at all. Under normal circumstances, 60 kilograms of dumbbells can be used. Generally, a 30 kilograms can be considered quite good. 40, 50, 60. Zhang Yuan picked them up from the ground. Easy, relaxed and easy. Whether it is 40 kilograms or 50 kilograms, it is very easy for Zhang Yuan. Only the 60 kilograms let Zhang Yuan feel some strength to a certain extent. But even if it is 60 kilograms, Zhang Yuan can also make all kinds of throws. Just like Zhang Yuan used to watch the martial arts masters in the martial arts films, the stone locks were thrown and practiced. The 60 kilograms of dumbbells are still not the biggest limit of Zhang Yuan's strength, but the heaviest dumbbell in the gym is this stubborn. It is usable. The left hand and the right hand respectively pick up a dumbbell, and then various throwing exercises. This is also the case that Tony Stark and the little Pepper are not seen, or they don't know what the two will be shocked. This exercise is a long time. Because of the reason for going to Afghanistan tomorrow, Zhang Yuan is not wasting time and trying hard to exercise. At the moment when he got the ability, Zhang Yuan decided to go to Afghanistan with Tony Stark tomorrow. As Tony Stark said, he is now one of the shareholders of Stark Industries, and it is natural for some scenes to attend. If you don't go, you will be frozen your bank card account. That's all money. You can't let go of hundreds of millions of dollars. Not to mention that he still has to find a way to ensure that Tony, the cheaper brother, will not have problems. Chapter 5, Killing the Card. Killing the sister paper can prove it. The hard work of most of the day, not to mention the decision to control his own strength, but at this time, Zhang Yuan is also familiar with a certain degree, finally will not shred the clothes like wearing clothes at the beginning. After reaching this level, Zhang Yuan began to understand the strange voice in his mind, and secretly asked in his heart, "Who is that? Are you still there?" "Host, I am." The mechanical voice replied. "What kind of existence are you like? Is it a system written in some of them?" Zhang Yuan Dao. "I am not a system." Mechanical sound. "Not a system, then what are you?" Zhang Yuan said differently. "I don't know what I am, I only know that I have to serve as a host." Mechanical sound. "Khan, you don't know how you will come to my body? Isn't it that you brought me to this world?" Zhang Yuan Dao. "I am not helping the host to come to this world. When I wake up, the host already exists in this world." The mechanical voice. "That way, okay, it seems to be the hand of the big who brought me over. Since you are dedicated to serving me, then you can help me, just like I got the strong genes of ants." "What is the ability to extract genes?" Zhang Yuan licked his mouth and asked again. "Well, yes, I mainly help the host to extract genes from other organisms." The mechanical voice replied. "How to extract?" "I don't want to swallow the creature like I got the power this time. I don't mind what I can eat, but some creatures are quite disgusting, just like this time, the ant, if it is a ghost, is willing to eat it." Zhang Yuan Zheng asked. You don't need to eat all the stomach. The host can kill the creatures, or catch them, and you can randomly extract the power of those creatures, the mechanical voice said. In this case, why did I have such a strong appetite when I saw the ants this time, and I swallowed the ants uncontrollably? Zhang Yuan frowned. That's because I need bioenergy to awaken, so I will stab the host to swallow the ants. The mechanical voice replied. My sister's paper, I said what is going on, okay, this swallowed, I won't say anything, I will have a similar thing next time, I can get a reminder, and I get my consent. Don't irritate my body like this one. The black face screams at the mechanical sound in my mind. Yes, the host, there will be no orders from you in the future, I will not do that again. The mechanical voice said. Very good, this is a satisfying service. Since you are not a system, but can talk to me, give you a name, right, are you male or female? Zhang Yuan ordered. Looking down, I followed my hand and touched my chin to think about it. Just thinking about it, I suddenly asked about the mechanical voice. I don't have sex. According to some memories in the host's mind, if I have to be qualitative, I should be equated with some of the spirits that the host has seen before. I can feel that I have a carrier. Mechanical said the voice. Ha, what is your carrier? Zhang Yuan was quite curious. I don't know, it's just a faint perception, and the ability is not enough to fully sense it at the moment. Mechanical voice. Then you say a hammer. Zhang Yuan blinked and followed, since you don't have sex, and you don't feel your carrier exists, give you a code name. Well, I think, 9527, Your name will be called 9527 in the future. Good host. 9:527. So 9:527, then I want to extract some genes from other creatures. Do you have any good suggestions? Zhang Yuandao. The host now has power, but there is no speed. It is recommended that the host fuses the speed of the biological gene. In addition, defense, life, and the like can be fused, but the host, although 9527 can help you to extract biological genes, however, the extraction of other biological genes requires bioenergy. Today, the bioenergy of the host is not enough to support the host for the next extraction and fusion. Insufficient biological energy? There is such a thing, how to get bioenergy? Zhang Yuan Yi wrote. Killing other creatures, the higher the level of biological individual, the stronger the strength, the higher the bioenergy that can be obtained. With the scan of 9527, the most advanced and easiest to find creature on the planet is human. Therefore, the best way for the host to continue to extract quickly is to kill. If the host kills 10 people, it can extract the genes of other organisms again. Chapter 6, Surrounded by a group of violent people. I know. Listening to 9252 said that killing people can get the fastest bioenergy. Jianjia Yuan's brows subconsciously wrinkled again. Although Marvel's world killing is normal, it's just going to kill people. Zhang Yuan is subconscious and has some incompatibility. However, although he did not adapt, Zhang Yuan knew that since he had obtained the current golden finger and was going to Afghanistan immediately, he had to overcome such a thing. If you don't even dare to kill. Also went to the wool of Afghanistan. When the terrorists try to kidnap Tony Stark, once they dare not kill, it means giving their own life to the terrorists. In addition to killing, how many other creatures need to meet the next bioenergy extraction, such as the kind of ants I have eaten recently? Zhang Yuandao. According to the energy value, an ant can provide 00 energy to the host, and the energy consumption of the next gene extraction by the host requires 1000 energy. 1000. Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed cold, although the ratio was a little small, but in fact it was not difficult to get 1000. According to Zhang Yuan, ants are very fast in breeding. Some large ant nests can reach millions and tens of millions. Even if there are some ordinary ones, there are not millions, so many. But there are still no problems with about 10,000 or even more than 10,000. With a few ants, you can naturally get 1,000 energy. And in this world, there are more than just ants. He is now the younger brother of Tony Stark. Nothing is rich. After all, Stark Industries is one of the largest arms manufacturers in M. In the Marvel world, arms, weapons are definitely quite profitable. Almost the first time, Zhang Yuan found a small pepper, spent a lot of money, let her arrange for people to buy a lot of cockroaches, ants, or something for him. Although the small pepper did not understand why Zhang Yuan was so arranged, it was the first time to implement Zhang Yuan's instructions. In the process of buying small peppers, Zhang Yuan also checked his bank card account, and he was almost not flashed by a series of zeros in the bank card. The money was directly calculated in billions. And this is what he is still a beautiful knife. If it is not that the world is more dangerous, it is an ordinary world, for example, the earth that has not crossed, and it will be tossed all the time. There is no problem with all kinds of. It is said that having money can make a ghost push. Under the purchase of Zhang Yuan, a lot of cockroaches, ants were sent to the waste factory he had bought for her. In the evening, Zhang Yuan ended the training, followed by washing, and packed up a little, and he was ready to drive to the old factory where the little peppers were purchased. "Hey," I said, "man, what are you going crazy today? It's hard because I'm fighting with your brother today. I can't win your brother, I'm trying to toss in the gym. And the toss is no problem. We are not allowed to go in and see." In addition, listening to the small pepper said, "You have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, let her buy a scrap factory for you, and buy a lot of ants. Hey, what are you going to do for these things? It will not be ready, your brother is doing some kind of prank." When Zhang Yuan walked out of the room and met Tony Stark in the living room, he was stopped by Tony Stark and asked him curiously, "I don't know whose eyes have been smashed into panda eyes." Zhang Yuan couldn't help but glance at Tony Stark. Tony Stark. Zhang Yuan ignored the speechless Tony Stark, went straight out of the door, and then drove the car, according to the address provided by the small pepper paws, went to the waste factory. When he was a child, Zhang Yuan drove to the location where the waste factory was located. After arriving here, he opened the door of the used factory with the key that Paz gave him, and then turned on the power of the old factory. He saw that there were several huge boxes that were not covered by black in the central position of the used factory. Seeing such a situation, Zhang Yuan hurried forward and then smashed the black cloth. He suddenly saw a large number of ants and a lot of cockroaches. Although they are all packed in some containers, they are gathered together and can be seen at a glance. Even if there is no intensive phobia in Zhang Yuan, they still can't help but feel that there is some worry. 10 minutes later, Zhang Yuan was satisfied with the waste factory. All the cockroaches and ants were burned to death by fire. Although the means are cruel, it is better than killing. After leaving the factory, Zhang Yuan locked the door and was ready to leave the sports car. When he was about to leave the sports car, the sound of a screaming sound suddenly sounded. As the sound of the sound rang, I saw a group of colorful hair, wearing a leather jacket, holding a stick, and a chain of violent people. Suddenly from a distance riding a locomotive galloping, it was actually to surround Zhang Yuan. Seeing the source of the Zhang Yuan brow subconscious wrinkles. I am afraid that he is not afraid, he just does not understand how these people will find him, and how it will appear here. The waste factory he bought from Paz was relatively remote. It is always a bad thing to kill a lot of ants and cockroaches if they are seen by some people, so he will get to this remote place. Chapter 7, Fly on One Foot. Kid, take your sports car and have fun. At the big night, you kid is driving a sports car to this remote factory to play. I don't know if this is our site. It's not really fine skin and tender meat, but it's still very handsome. I like the handsome guy like you. Oh. The violent people just surrounded Zhang Yuan, and then listened to all kinds of laughter and heard from the mouths of the violent people. Every time they talked, they were all obviously not taking Zhang Yuan seriously. Roll, no effort to take care of you. Zhang Yuan frowned at these people, followed by a cold voice. Oh, man, the temper is quite big. A young man with a red hat, with a glimpse of his eyes, followed by jumping from a locomotive, then holding a baseball bat in his right hand and slapping it against his left hand. Laughing and laughing toward Zhang Yuan. After 3 or 2, he came to Jianzhai Yuan's side. After coming to Zhang Yuan, he did not wait for Zhang Yuan to answer anything. The girl with a slap in the face swung down against a bat of Zhang Yuan. Yo yo yo! The surrounding violent people saw it, not only did not stop it, but they also cheered loudly. They did not think that Zhang Yuan could escape the attack of the jacket youth. However, their screaming cheers came to an abrupt end. I saw that the baseball bat that the jacket youth had thrown out was actually caught in the hands of Zhang Yuan. The youth of the jacket suddenly sank, staring at Zhang Yuan. His eyes were quite bad. I thought that I would not be able to hit Zhang Yuan, not only did not hit it, but also let him lose face in front of other people around him. It is simply hateful. Give me a hand. The jacket youth violently slammed, then picked up the baseball bat and wanted to take the baseball bat from Zhang Yuan's hands. However, when he did this, he found out. Silk does not move. He used 90% of his strength, but he was not able to take back his baseball bat, which made him quite unbelievable. Ha ha ha, Tom, you won't be much more than last night, and you can't match the strength of such a small white face. Tom, Yang Shuo is sick, get cured, don't be embarrassed. Tom, you are just laughing at the dead. The laughter of the neighbors made the jacket youth look even worse. Immediately, both hands grabbed the baseball bat's mission and smashed back. But no matter how he resisted, they could not shake the baseball bat. The baseball bat seemed to be Zhang Yuan's hands were born with roots. Hey! The youth of the jacket does not stop using the ankles, but they can never get back to the baseball bat. With this situation, the other violent people next to them finally found something wrong. Kid, let me let go. I didn't expect you guys to be quite energetic, but Lita is not a good thing, let go. I even dare to resist, there are some meanings. 4 of the violent people were also underground vehicles, and then proceeded to the position where Zhang Yuan was located. While marching and cursing Zhang Yuan, they soon came to Jianzhai Yuan's side, and then they began to work on Zhang Yuan. When they were ready to start, Zhang Yuan glanced at them, followed the hand that grabbed the baseball bat in the young jacket of the jacket, and took a bat to the hard-boned young man's hand. Under such circumstances, the youth of the jacket could not escape from the forbidden. When the jacket youth rushed up, Zhang Yuan slammed his right foot and suddenly flew out the jacket youth. Puff! The youth in the jacket's mouth was squirting. It seemed to be hit by the locomotive. The body was bent into a shrimp shape. After flying out for 5 or 6 meters, it stopped. When he stopped, the body kept twitching, and the blood of the mouth was kept from the mouth. Spit out, look carefully, you can clearly see that some of the internal organs are spit out. Shit, you dare to do it. Fuck, do him. The beggars next to them were all shocked, and then waved the irons in their hands toward the violent people near Zhang Yuan, and chained Zhang Yuan. Chapter 8, One-Handed Wheeled Motorcycle, Smashing the Violent. Court Death. Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed in the cold, followed by a cold drink, and while drinking cold, the baseball bat in the right hand swept it out. Although Zhang Yuan did not have any fighting skills, he understood that he would drop 10 meetings. The truth. Now that he is strong and has a baseball bat in his hand, it is natural to use these advantages. Hey! The sound of Jin Ji's screaming sounded, and the iron rod in the hands of one of them was blocked by Zhang Yuan. It was swept away, and the powerful force allowed the two to hold the iron. People can't grasp the iron in their hands. The tiger's mouth is tearing open at once and the blood is flowing. Hey! However, although Zhang Yuan suddenly flew 2 of them in the hands of iron, but attacked him 4 people, not 2 people, when he flew the iron in the hands of the 2, the attack of the other 2 also directed him when he came over, he could only escape the attack of 1 person with a slight sway, and he was shackled on the back by the chain in the other hand. Suddenly painful. Fortunately, he extracted the ant gene, the body got a certain reinforcement, the anti-strike ability is good, and it will not be beaten at once. Of course, Zhang Yuan is quite angry. Grass mud horse. Under the pain, Zhang Yuan reversed his body and violently hit a baseball bat on the other's shoulder. He only heard the broken bones of the sound, and then saw that the person hit by Zhang Yuan was cracked. The ground, the hysterical screams in the mouth. Piss off! Seeing that the other side was shot dead, Zhang Yuan did not deflate, but the right heel smashed out, and the man flew out like a ball, and the blood in his mouth squirted and landed on the distance of 7 or 8 meters. Keep twitching. After hitting this person, Zhang Yuan followed and turned his eyes to the side. He just couldn't hit himself. This would be extremely pale, and the violent person with the golden hair would look up. When he looked up, he saw that the person's legs could not help but tremble. Looking at Zhang Yuan's eyes, there was obviously fear. Don't come over! The golden-eyed violent stalker, who braced the fear, waved the chain to Zhang Yuan, and screamed loudly. Humph! Zhang Yuan snorted and followed the bat baseball in his hand, and soon approached the golden, hairy violent family. I fight with you, give me to die. See the golden color. Under the fear of the hairy violent family, the heart is swaying, and the chain is waved toward Zhang Yuan. Hey! Zhang Yuan's baseball bat was swept away, sweeping the chain, sweeping away, and leaping vigorously, and the baseball bat in his hand smashed up against the man. Hey! The sound of the broken bones sounded, the shoulder of this person was hit by Zhang Yuan, the body was shot on the ground, the severe pain, so that he could not even scream, he suddenly fainted past. However, even if the other party fainted, Zhang Yuan did not let it go. It was also a trip to the other side to fly out, and then the line of sight went to the other 2 irons. The violent people who were shot and flew out looked up and looked at them. At the same time, I ran straight to the other side. Run! When the 2 violent people saw it, they did not dare to stop and quickly ran. Grass mud horse, give me a hand. Drive him and hit him. There are a total of 5 cars in the runaways. Each car has 1 person in addition to the driver. So in addition to the 5 violent people coming down from the back of the car, there are 5 violent people on the locomotive. They saw that Zhang Yuan was so embarrassed, although it was shocking, it was also very taboo, but it was not driving away. It was a fierce engine car that hit the river. The fastest of all was a red-haired young man in a black jacket. Give me to die! The red-haired youth drove up the locomotive to catch up with Zhang Yuan, then screamed coldly, the throttle screamed wildly, and the rhythm of a pair of rivers was killed. Upon seeing, Zhang Yuan refused to pursue the 2 violent stalkers, and his body shape flashed quickly, avoiding the impact of this person, but he had just escaped, and then he was full of a car hitting him, so he had to dodge again. But the impact came 5 cars, even if they escaped 2, but there are 3. You are not very powerful, you give me a cow. You are in a cow, but you can still get a locomotive. Seeing that Zhang Yuan was dodging, other violent people who drove through the car suddenly screamed. Hey! They just yelled and followed the roaring sound. It turned out that Zhang Yuan suddenly threw the baseball bat in his hand and threw it at the forefront of the violent rapist. He had a strong force and slammed the opponent. He had to fall down from the motorcycle. As he fell, he slammed the locomotive and naturally fell. When the locomotive fell, Zhang Yuan rushed to the locomotive. Roar! Then Zhang Yuan roared out, grabbed the locomotive with one hand and lifted the locomotive all at once. While lifting the locomotive, Zhang Yuan waved the locomotive to one of the people who continued to collide and took it to the other side. The car is swept away. In this case, the scalp of the violent sniper that came from the other car was instantly numb. In particular, the other person who followed the rapid impact of the flying man was even more so, and quickly slammed on the brakes, but it was too late, and Zhang Yuan ran a locomotive and sprinted up against him. Chapter 9, One did not pay attention, they all got rid of. Hey! The roar of the roar, the guy who was given to the motorcycle wheeled by Zhang Yuan, could not escape Zhang Yuan's attack, and immediately followed the previous person's footsteps, and even the man with the motorcycle was flying out. Although Zhang Yuan determined that he was now genetically modified by the ants, he could not reach the powerful level of ants that could fight 400 times more than himself. But the power has already far exceeded that of ordinary people. One-handed motorcycles are nothing to Zhang Yuan. Don't talk about the motorcycle, the car is by his side, he will have confidence to overturn it. It is impossible to put such power before it passes through, but in today's Marvel, such strength is not too amazing. Because there are too many variants in the Marvel world, and what kinds of crazy scientists. Withdraw, hurry to withdraw, this guy is a monster. Damn, this guy is definitely the kind of monster mutant in the news report. The two people on the motorcycle and the two violent rappers who were rescued were shocked and watched at Zhang Yuan. They all had fear on their faces, and they cursed each other and then refused. Those who were treated to be hit hard by Zhang Yuan were ready to escape. I saw the violent trousers on the two locomotives, using skill, slammed into the motorcycle in one place, and the throttle sensation, rushing toward the two violent youths on the ground, ready to take the two away. If you hit someone, you want to run. If there is such an easy thing, leave it to me. Zhang Yuan threw the locomotive in his hand and slammed it toward the violent people. Boom! The powerful force belt car suddenly flew more than 10 meters away, and instantly hit one of the locomotives. Just hitting it on the top, suddenly the explosion sounded, and the strong air waves skyrocketed and the ground the two violent people and the violent people on a nearby locomotive flew at the same time. Zhang Yuan saw a sudden shrinkage of the pupil, while holding his face with his hand, while receding, he knew that this was when he threw the motorcycle, causing the motorcycle's petrol tank to explode in a violent impact. Before throwing out the locomotive, he did not think that it would explode like this. After all, he just had a locomotive and he was safe. But it is also possible that when he was connected to the engine car, the gasoline leaked. After the explosion completely stopped, Zhang Yuan quickly walked to the scene of the motorcycle explosion. When he came here, he saw 4 people who were exploding by motorcycles. They were confused and bloody, and obviously died. Seeing Zhang Yuan subconsciously has a sense of vomiting that is not suitable. This is his first kill. Although he just shot the guys, he didn't think about killing them all at once. Otherwise, when he just flicked the baseball bat, he didn't hit them on their shoulders, but hit them on their heads. However, things happened. Zhang Yuan couldn't change anything anymore. He forced the vomiting to be suppressed, and then he followed the heavily violent stalkers who looked at the ground, and the eyes slammed. Although he didn't want to kill at first, but now someone has already died in his hands, then the rest of them are simply killed. Thinking of this, Zhang Yuan looked a glimpse, followed by a quick walk to the violent gangsters on the ground, picked up an iron rod on the ground, and then hit them on their heads and put them on them. After killing, stacking their bodies together, pressing the fallen locomotive on them, then carrying another locomotive to a certain distance, throwing the locomotive from a distance. Go up! Boom! The deafening explosion sounded again, followed by the fire. In this case, Zhang Yuan took a deep breath and drove the car away with the car key. As for the crime scene, it will not be discovered. Zhang Yuan is not very worried. Because he knew that it was impossible to get through the investigation of the Investigation Bureau. As for the consequences of killing, Zhang Yuan also thinks very clearly. He is a member of the Stark family and is a shareholder of Stark Industries. He has close cooperation with the military of the M countries. These people are taking the initiative to attack him. Even if he kills these people, it is just a legitimate defense. Even if it is too much, it is not a problem to settle the situation with the power of the Stark family. Not to mention that in the Marvel world, what a superhero kills, it is a normal thing, as long as he shows his ability, such as the shield, CIA, will automatically cover up everything for him. Zhang Yuan returned to the seaside villa when he was a child. When I got back here, Tony Stark was looking at a blonde in the lobby of the villa. "Hey, Zhang Yuan, you are back." Seeing Zhang Yuan coming back, Tony Stark didn't have the slightest suspicion. He smiled at Zhang Yuan with a smile, but after he greeted him, he saw Zhang Yuan. When there is a certain amount of blood on the body, the brow is a wrinkle, and the pupil is slightly shrunk. "Man, what happened to you? How does it look so embarrassing? Are you fighting with others?" When he said this, he let go of the blonde in his arms, and then whispered for a while, and saw the blonde girl disappointed with the bag, very unwilling to walk out of the villa. Chapter 10, Arms Conference on Afghanistan. When the blonde left, he followed Tony Stark and looked at Zhang Yuan with great seriousness and dignity. "What happened to Zhang Yuan? How can you have so much blood in your body?" "I am killing." Zhang Yuan walked down to the sofa opposite Tony Stark and replied to Tony Stark. "Hey, kill. Man, today is not April Fool's Day, you are sure you haven't fooled me?" Tony Stark squinted at Zhang Yuan. "Well, I didn't lie to you, I did kill." Zhang Yuan frowned, thinking of the situation just now. Zhang Yuan will still be somewhat uncomfortable, although in the end he slammed all the violent people, and when I decided to go to Afghanistan with Tony Stark, I already had preparations for murder. But this murder was too abrupt for Zhang Yuan. I didn't think of it at first. How can this be the case? What is the matter? Tell me about the specific situation. In addition, where is the incident? How can I call the first time after the accident? This must be the first time after the incident. This is to contact the small peppers, let her arrange for the aftermath. Tony Stark said to Zhang Yuan, and then he said to the room, "Jarvis, contact Paz." "Yes, sir." Jarvis answered the first time. "Things happened outside the scrap factory that Xiao Jiao bought for me today. When I went outside the waste factory, I met a group of locomotives. They started to fight me and then I was killed." Zhang Yuan. "Hey, man, you really know that you are not fooling me, not making a story? You say a group of violent people? You don't blame the old brother, I doubt you, though, you often have fitness, but fighting ability, but not worthy. If you meet a group of violent people, how can you kill them, unless you take us some of Stark's attacking weapons and go out?" Tony Stark stunned and followed some suspicion and looked at Zhang Yuan. "I have a good fighting ability, and your eyes don't hurt." Zhang Yuan. "You are a sneak attack." Tony Stark was speechless. "But that's the way it is." Zhang Yuan shrugged. "Well, I knew you would kill people. When you go out, I will stop you from going out. But, guys, don't worry about anything. Then you go to the building to take a shower, take a good sleep, wait for Boz to come. I will let her handle this kind of thing properly, and will not let the FBI come to you for trouble." Tony Stark. "Yeah." Zhang Yuan responded, then got up and left the hall. After Zhang Yuan left, Boz came to the hall and asked Tony Stark what to order. Tony Stark didn't have a little bit of mud and water, and immediately let Boz send people to deal with what Zhang Yuan said. When Boz heard what Tony Stark said, she was quite surprised, but although she was surprised, Boz's reaction was quite fast, and she followed the instructions of Tony Stark to go after the good. As Tony Stark's life assistant, and playing the role of secretary, Boz's ability is unquestionable. She is very clear about how to deal with things like this. As Zhang Yuan thinks, although killing is a big thing for ordinary American citizens, it is not something that cannot be settled for the Stark family, let alone what Zhang Yuan said. Things are real, then this can be fully characterized as legitimate defense. As for whether Zhang Yuan will lie on such a thing, both Paz and Tony Stark believe that Zhang Yuan will not lie. 10 minutes later, Tony Stark looked at the replies from Paz, and looked at the second floor of the villa with his eyes subconsciously. According to Paz's reply, there was a group of violent people who died in the place outside the abandoned factory purchased by Zhang Yuan. In addition to the reply, Paz also sent a live photo to Tony Stark, seeing the flesh and blood of the scene, and the obvious traces of the explosion. Tony Stark was quite curious about how Zhang Yuan came out of. At this time, the younger brother who was the otaku and the impression of Tony Stark suddenly became mysterious. Judging from the traces of the scene, Zhang Yuan feared that some things were hidden, but although some things were hidden, Tony Stark was not prepared to ask Zhang Yuan to ask questions. Under the treatment of the small pepper paws, these things are naturally quite perfect. I didn't come to Zhang Yuan from start to finish. Let Zhang Yuan take a shower, and after eating a good night and night, I sleep until dawn. The next day, when Zhang Yuan was still asleep, he was suddenly woken up by Paz. Not only was he woken up, but also Tony Stark. This is because they have to fly to Afghanistan today to conduct a weapons briefing. Chapter 11, Armed with one of the pots. Tony, Master Zhang Yuan, you are a little faster, the plane is already waiting. After seeing Zhang Yuan and Tony Stark get up, they washed each other slowly, and the little Pepper Poston couldn't help but urge the two. According to the plan, she had to wake up Tony Stark and Zhang Yuan more than an hour ago, but they both slept very well, and she knew that if they didn't sleep enough, they wouldn't wake up. Wake up two people. But now the time is already tight, and the two are not going to be faster, they have to miss the agreed time. No hurry, what is urgency? Our Stark industrial weapons are not sold, and this time the Afghan military has asked us to buy equipment, not what we sell, so it seems that there is no relationship. Zhang Yuan, while washing, said to the little Pepper Paws. Zhang Yuan, although you have never been to participate in our Stark industrial activities, but have to say that you are not wrong at all, as long as the card is finally stuck, it is not necessary to go so cold. Tony Stark came over from the side and said, while finishing his clothes, he smiled and said. Little Pepper Poston was speechless. To Tony, this time we went to Afghanistan, did you get any bodyguards? And the private guards followed the past. Zhang Yuan suddenly said to Tony Stark. What kind of bodyguards, private guards, don't you think that such people are very annoying? In addition, this time there is James, Colonel Roddy is accompanying us, and when we arrive, we will go to the top of the military in Afghanistan. Together, there is no danger at all. Under such circumstances, it is difficult for you to fear that there are any things that threaten our lives. Tony Stark looked at Zhang Yuan silently. The words are so, but there is not always a terrorist in the place in Afghanistan. Do the armed people exist? Who knows if we will be attacked by those people after we have passed? We can all be the largest in M1 of the arms manufacturers, if those people do it to us, but there is great interest. Zhang Yuandao. You are right in this case, but don't worry, there will be no problem. This is just a very ordinary press conference in daily work. The Afghan military will not let us go wrong. Tony Stark. Of course we will not have an accident in the Afghan military, but if we trade the weapons with the Afghan military, we will have an accident in the process of leaving. Zhang Yuandao. Zhang Yuan, how could I not know that you are so afraid of death? You will not be afraid. Tony Stark said. Yes, I am afraid, you know that I was attacked last night, and now I am very sensitive to everything. Therefore, I strongly urge that I must bring professional bodyguards and bodyguards to Afghanistan. The team is good. In addition, we don't have a lot of portable attack weapons in Stark Industries. Let me also come here. I don't have any weapons. I don't feel at ease, and apart from us, I strongly demand the bodyguards also have to be fully armed. Zhang Yuan Dao. Khan. Zhang Yuan, you were stabbed yesterday. I know, but this arrangement is too exaggerated. Tony Stark looked at Zhang Yuan with wide eyes. What exaggeration is there? Other arms dealers, rich people are not all arranged in this way, and as far as the Opati Yastin guys, when the guys travel, they are not all before. There are many bodyguards. I am also a 10% stake in Stark Industries. I want to get some bodyguards and guards. I don't seem to be too much in my identity. Zhang Yuan Dao. This, well, I said but you, if you want it, then you have to, but Zhang Yuan, don't you think that this is very shameful? I have participated in many conferences before, but I have never done it before. The prestige is but not very human. Tony Stark said. Cut, Tony, I seriously doubt how you lived to the present. Fortunately, I used to be very low-key. I don't go out very much. People from outside are basically not concerned about me. Otherwise, I am as high profile as you are, without going out with bodyguards. It must have been killed for a long time. Zhang Yuan looked at Tony Stark. Tony, I think Jianjia Yuan's words are correct. You really have to get some bodyguards. The guards walk with you. I don't believe that James, Colonel Roddy, but the place you go to is other countries, not M. The native country, naturally, there are not many people who dare to do it to you, because the FBI has been closely watching your situation and doing various secret protections for you, but other countries should do something. Little Pepper Boss should be on the side. Okay, just follow what Zhang Yuan said. Tony Stark shook his head and followed, let Paz arrange it, and let Paz give him some burgers, waiting for him to eat on the plane. Under such circumstances, Zhang Yuan and Tony Stark and Boz came to a private airport a long time ago. There was already a private plane parked here. At the same time, James, wearing a military uniform, Rhodey corrected the station in the cabin waiting for Zhang Yuan and others. Unlike the story, Tony Stark went with James and Colonel Roddy in the story. Now, not only does Zhang Yuan not say more, but there are also 16 black men. These 16 black-shirt men look ordinary, but the world has undergone rigorous training. It was also when Zhang Yuan and others arrived at the airport. Stark Industries, Opati Ya, Stan's office. Opati Ya, Stan got the opportunity to go to Afghanistan with Zhang Yuan and Tony Stark. Very good. I was only prepared to take Tony. I didn't expect this Zhang Yuan to follow. Zhang Yuan, although this guy doesn't appear in the group, doesn't participate in the group, but it is also Howard's old guy. Son, with 10% of the group's shares, since he went together, even if he is just a useless waste wood, it is just a pot end, you don't have to come back. Opati Ya, Stan smiled coldly, then used the mail sent an action command. Chapter 12, Caught a Spider. Oh, good morning, my dearest Air Force Colonel. Seeing James Rhodey, Tony Stark greeted James Rhodey while eating a burger. Tony, if you can come early, I will be better. James Rhodey glanced at Tony Stark silently, although he was used to Tony Stark likes to be late, but this morning he is like Wang Fu. She generally waited for Tony Stark to blow the cold wind for more than 2 hours in the cabin, which is still quite speechless. Hey, next time I try to come early. Tony Stark said with a smile. James, you don't care about Tony. He likes the lateness of the problem. He can't change it. Zhang Yuan stepped forward and said to James Rhodey, saying that he was going to the plane. It's not like you are late for today. If you are not Zhang Yuan, you guys, you have to get bodyguards and weapons, how can you be late? Tony Stark said in the back of Zhang Yuan. Even if I don't let the bodyguards arrange, you will still be late, and I let the arrangement of bodyguards is a very normal arrangement. Zhang Yuan did not return. You guy. Tony Stark shook his head in silence and then stopped talking. Tony, actually, I feel that Zhang Yuan is right. It's a very correct arrangement to get a bodyguard. I used to mind you before, but you haven't listened to me. This time it's normal, though most of your activities are attended, I will go with you, but you also know that I am always a person, once you encounter any sudden danger, you cannot absolutely protect you. James Rhodey opened the way. I believe in you. Tony Stark patted James Rhodey's shoulder with his hand and then walked into the cabin with James Rhodey. As for the little Pepperpaws, she had to stay in the country for Tony Stark. Handle some things. Under the driving of James Rhodey, the plane safely reached a military airport in Afghanistan. When arriving here, there were already a lot of Afghan military personnel waiting for this place again. The big man is an uncle with a lieutenant rank. After seeing Zhang Yuan and others coming down from the plane, they immediately responded enthusiastically, shaking hands with Tony Stark and Zhang Yuan. As for the black men who came down with Zhang Yuan and Tony Stark, naturally they did not get such a privilege. After all, these people are the bodyguards at first glance. Half an hour later, in a mountain range of arms test, Tony Stark wore a black suit, sunglasses and his back to the mountains, smiling at some of the uniformed men standing in front of him. Introducing the weapons displayed this time. It makes people feel good, but it still makes people respect. There is nothing both. With this conviction, I am like you presenting the top products of our Stark Industrial Freedom series. This is the first missile system that combines our exclusive impact technology. People say that the best weapons don't need to be fired. I don't agree. I think the best weapon is a weapon that is enough to fire. My father did this, the United States is, but it is not correct at the moment. Let's find a reason to launch one. I think the mice were shocked and never dared to come out. Tony Stark said that he hooked his hand to a missile device not far from him. As he did, he immediately saw the missile rocket device, was manipulated, and then aimed at Tony Stark. Behind the mountains. Call out. Immediately after listening to the slamming, a missile was launched and went out. After the launch, it was seen that the missile quickly disintegrated and then turned into a large number of small missiles and slammed toward the mountains. Booming rumble. The deafening sound of the popping sound, accompanied by the sound of the explosion, the horrible waves swept up and swept toward Tony Stark. For reference only to the Jericho missile. When the turbulence swept through, Tony Stark stretched out the right hand and slowly lifted it upwards. It is more dazzling to install the gas field. The air wave soon ended. When it was over, Tony Stark smiled and walked to the position of an alloy box not far away, opened the box, and suddenly saw the ice scent, and the air was filled. Looking at it, I saw frozen wine in it, and a lot of wine glasses. If the transaction reaches more than 500 million, send a bottle of wine, this cup, respect peace. Tony Stark picked up 2 glasses from the box, gave a cup of Zhang Yuan, and then raised the glass in his hand and drank the wine. Do it. Although Zhang Yuan felt that Tony Stark's introduction of weapons was very aggressive, he had to admit that such Tony Stark was quite attractive. After the introduction of the weapons, Tony Stark was prepared to leave the shooting range with Zhang Yuan and others in a military vehicle. In the process of preparing to leave, Tony Stark proposed to sit alone in a military vehicle. Zhang Yuan was the first to deny Tony Stark's proposal and then sat in the car with Tony Stark. Hey, what kind of buddy, come out and participate in the weapons introduction will be good, if not you are not willing to explain, just the scene of the forced forces carried out by you, how the situation is better than your home otaku too much. After getting on the bus with Zhang Yuan, Tony Stark smiled and said to Zhang Yuan, I don't think there is anything good. Zhang Yuan glanced at Tony Stark. At this time, the spirit was highly hit, because he knew that the next time he went back, he would be attacked by terrorists. His body is obviously tight. How do you think you are very nervous? I said Zhang Yuan. Since you just entered the military camp, I feel that you are weird. It seems that something is going to happen. Please don't be nervous. This weapons briefing is over, and it is not that you are not going to explain it. In fact, such a scene is really trivial. As a Stark family, as a person who holds a 10% stake in Stark Industries, you should adapt to such a thing. After all, you will stand in front of the stage sooner or later. Tony Stark saw Zhang Yuan's body tight, and suddenly smiled and appeased Zhang Yuan. Okay, I am not nervous about the press conference. I really think that there are always some bad things to happen. Tony will wait for you to be careful, don't run around. Zhang Yuan gave a white look at Tony Stark. The gaze was to scan the surrounding situation through the window, while the left hand quietly held a small bottle inside the pocket. There is a spider inside. It was Zhang Yuan who just grabbed the weapon when Tony Stark explained the weapon. Chapter 13, Extract Spider Ability, Enhanced Version of Spider-Man. According to 9:527, there is 1,000 bioenergy that can extract the genes of other creatures for him again. He spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a waste factory, and at the same time, under the money mammoth, it is still the shortest. Time got a lot of cockroaches, and the number was over 2 million. So when he actually came out of the warehouse, the bioenergy had already exceeded 1,000, and there were more than 2,700. In addition, if he did not have to ask for the shortest time, the money he had to rush out was definitely not just 200. 10,000. Later, he killed 10 violent people and gained another 1,000 bioenergy. So his total bioenergy has more than 3,700. It is not a lie to him if he is deceiving him. He is a gene that can extract 3 other creatures. At that time, if it was not for killing people, he would not be able to adapt to a certain degree. He would have to extract the ability that night, instead of waiting until now. However, when he accidentally killed someone, he really didn't have the mood to do it. Of course, although he does not have the ability to extract, he also considers what kind of genetic ability to extract next. At that time, he fought with the 10 locomotives, as if they were crushing and killing those people. But that war also made Zhang Yuan clearly feel his own shortcomings. His fighting ability is not good and he must be trained. In addition, his light response is not fast enough. If he responded quickly enough, he would not be given a chain by the violent. Fortunately, those guys at that time did not grab only the chains, sticks or something, otherwise if he was attacked at the time, it was not the chain that attacked him, but the gun. Then even if he is not dead, he will definitely be hit hard. In this case, it is naturally impossible for Zhang Yuan to consider whether to extract the genetic ability of life-saving. For example, those who burned him not long ago. I know that my life is still quite long. Even if it is cut off, it is a few bodies that can live, and can still be reproduced to a certain extent. However, although the body can be cut off and can be regenerated to a certain extent, the regeneration of cockroaches has great limitations. It is not 100% successful. There is also a so-called heart. Once the heart sad reminder, it can't be regenerated at all. All in all, there is some regenerative capacity, but it is not strong enough. Or is it a gecko, a lizard? Both the gecko and the lizard's tail can be reborn and have regenerative genes. And according to Dr. Lizard in Marvel known by Zhang Yuan, he specialized in this and successfully developed his own arm, but Dr. Lizard failed to deal with the drawbacks of genetic agents, thus making himself a beast. Lost in reason. However, although these capabilities are needed by Zhang Yuan, he is still ready to extract the reaction capacity after certain considerations. Among the responsiveness, he naturally considered the spider for the first time. After all, there is an example of Spider-Man. After Spider-Man was bitten by a spider, it mutated, but the energy was quite good. The bullets could easily escape without attacking anything. Since Peter Parker can be so embarrassed, Zhang Yuan naturally does not think that he cannot be so powerful. So he will catch the spider and prepare to extract the spider. 9, 5 and 27, give me 1,000 creatures to randomly extract spider genes. Zhang Yuan's thoughts turned quickly, followed by secret command on the 9252. Yes, the host. The sound of the mechanical system of the 957 is ringing in Jianjia Yuan's mind. 1,000 bioenergy starts to be deducted. The genes begin to be randomly extracted. Random extraction of spider biostatic genes, whether the host is fused. The mechanical sound of the 9:527 did not stop in Jianjia Yuan's mind. Hey, biostatic? Is the so-called climbing ability of Spider-Man? Zhang Yuan brows up, although this ability is good, but what he needs at this time is not what to climb, but since it is drawn, naturally it is still to be integrated, but before the integration, Zhang Yuan couldn't help but say to the 9:527, I will not suffer again this time. Reassure the host, this time there will be no pain. The first time the host will suffer is to improve the body for the first time, in order to adapt to the subsequent genetic fusion. That is to say, I don't have any side effects with any other genes. Zhang Yuan's eyes are bright. Yes, the host. 9, 5 and 27. Very good, then give me a fusion. Zhang Yuan Dao. Okay. On the 9th and 25th, he followed Zhang Yuan and suddenly found that his body had changed independently. Then he obviously found that he could put the static electricity. If you want only one thought, you can carry out a variety of climbing or something. Very good, continue to give me the spider gene. Zhang Yuan secretly felt the genetic ability, followed by the 9527. Deduct 1,000 bioenergy again. The genes begin to be randomly extracted. Random extraction of spiders, whether the host is fused, friendship, these genes can increase the agility of the host. The response is exactly what the host wants to obtain. A series of mechanical sounds in the 9577 sounded in Jianjia Yuan's mind, and it was a joy to follow Jianjia Yuan's face. It was finally extracted. I immediately merged with me. Zhang Yuan secretly ordered without hesitation. Then Zhang Yuan's body trembled fiercely, and a strange energy rushed into his body, and his body could be transformed again. This transformation is not painful, not only without pain, but also let Zhang Yuan be very comfortable, from the in the bones. He can clearly feel that his genetic level has improved. Chapter 14, Counterattack by Terrorist Attacks. Even when he perceives that his own genes have improved, Zhang Yuan clearly has a capability. At this time, he can use the air vibration to acquire information like a spider, perceive everything around him, and avoid danger in advance. Call, now if I make the cobweb launcher made by Peter Parker, I can definitely be an enhanced version of Spider-Man. While silently feeling the changes in his body, Zhang Yuan is turning around. Idea. According to his knowledge of Spider-Man's initial ability, it is spider sensing, electrostatic climbing, and 15 times the power of Spider-Man's cobweb radiator. Now Zhang Yuan has a spider sensing, biostatic, and in terms of strength, even if he can't play 400 times more power now, he is stronger than 15 times, so he gets a spider web launch. Whatever it is, naturally it can be regarded as an enhanced version of Spider-Man. In his memory, the Osborn group has specialized in a special kind of spider silk. As long as the spider silk is synthesized by special instruments, a spider web launcher can be made. As long as the spider silk is obtained, the transmitter cannot be done by Zhang Yuan, and it can also be made by his cheap brother Tony Stark. But in addition to making a spider web launcher, there is actually another option, which is to extract the spider's silking ability. Of course, Zhang Yuan is not interested in what he is doing, so he is not prepared to extract temporarily, or look at the situation in the future. 3,700 bioenergy, only 1,700 points of bioenergy is consumed at once, so that the last extraction can be done with the same energy points. However, for the time being, I am not interested in silking, so this is 1000 energy is reserved first, and it will not be used in the battle. After Zhang Yuan's thoughts turned quickly, he did not continue to choose to extract genes, but used the ability to perceive the surrounding situation. Under such circumstances, after 10 minutes, Zhang Yuan's dawn suddenly slammed, and quickly escaping from the pocket, a conversation headset was placed on his ear, and then he said, "Everyone pays attention and prepares to fight." Zhang Yuan's order made the next Tony Stark slammed. Battle? What battle? Tony Stark is quite aggressive. He really doesn't know what Zhang Yuan is doing. As for the call headset, it was prepared by Zhang Yuan from the very beginning. Every black man has a headset on his ear. Although Tony Stark didn't understand what it was, he was sitting in a military vehicle with Zhang Yuan, and the black man who was driving the car and the black man who was driving the co-pilot was the first time to concentrate on it. Even the black man who saw the co-pilot quickly took out a submachine gun from under the clothes. At the same time, the black man on the military vehicle in the front lane was even more quickly pulled out of the box and assembled at an extremely fast speed. Sniper rifle, rocket launcher, or something. At the request of Zhang Yuan, the 16 black men were absolutely armed, and each of them wore bulletproof vests under the clothes. Not even these people, even Zhang Yuan had wear, Tony Stark does not want to wear, but also has the equipment at the request of Zhang Yuan. At 11 o'clock, there was an attack and a careful shell attack. Zhang Yuan did not answer Tony Stark at all, but after the car was opened again, the pupil violently contracted, and then used the communicator to loudly alert. "I said, Zhang Yuan, what are you doing here?" Tony Stark listened to such an order and was speechless again. He couldn't help but say it again, but when he said this, the subconscious looked at the window and looked at him, followed by his pupil contraction and cursed, "Shit." Because when he looked away from the window, he saw a shell bombarded and positioned it at the car. When Tony Stark saw the shell attack, the driver saw this under the warning of Zhang Yuan, slammed the steering wheel and evaded the attack of the shell. Boom! Then the deafening explosion sounded and the shells were bombarded in a position that the car had just avoided. However, despite the attack of a shell, the attack did not stop, but a constant attack. The jumper, covered by the mountain stone, the car target is too big. Zhang Yuan watched the car keep bombing and suddenly opened his mouth. Almost when his words fell, Tony Stark jumped out of the car door for the first time, because he obviously saw another shell bombarded. This time, if you don't jump, you will definitely be hit. When Tony Stark jumped out, Zhang Yuan also jumped out with Tony Stark. In addition, the black men in the car did not hesitate and jumped. Just after a jump, I saw the car being blown up. After Tony Stark jumped on the car, hiding on the edge of a rock pile, it was quite speechless. First, I took a look at Zhang Yuan in a complicated way. Then I took out the mobile phone and took a photo of myself compared to the scissors. Although the situation at this time is dangerous, but this situation is just taken, and then sent to the face to install. When Tony Stark took a photo, Tony Stark's pupil followed it again, because he suddenly found that there was a bomb in the distance not far from the ground. I don't want to think about it. Tony Stark is ready to go forward and throw the bomb away. However, when he was preparing for action, Zhang Yuan took a look at Tony Stark and went out to the side. Boom! Just as soon as I went out, the bomb exploded and suddenly, the stone fluttered and the dust flew. "Thank you, Zhang Yuan, you saved my life." Tony Stark saw the explosion of the bomb, and thanked Zhang Yuan for his heart. "If you are a fool, if you are dead, who will give me money?" Zhang Yuan did not take a good look at Tony Stark, and, "I really don't know if you should say that you are big, or should you say other what is so dangerous, you still have to think about it, take a picture, you can shoot it, you are still better than the scissors, can you not be more than scissors? You don't think the scissors are very poor? Also, do you still think that the layout I have made is more than one thing? Haha, then, the weather is really good today. Tony Stark said. Yes, your sister. Zhang Yuan took a look at Tony Stark. You don't know Howard's old mix. The egg has only made 2 lives. It's you and me. There is no sister at all. Of course, I don't rule out Howard's old mix. There are illegitimate women outside the egg. Tony Stark. Zhang Yuan silently glanced at Tony Stark. Zhang Yuan followed the use of headset communication to stop the actions of some black people who rushed to the side and ordered them, "Don't worry about me and Tony, be careful that the enemy is close, ready to fight back." Chapter 15, also saved Iron Man once. In Zhang Yuan's way of saying this, I saw that from a distance, there will be a lot of heavily armed terrorists who are coming to this place. Among them is a middle-aged man with a big beard, and his body is quite strong. At this time, these people are attacking very fast. All the way to the goal is to directly lock the car where the car was blown up. When these people were attacking, they all had sneers on their faces. Most people don't think that under such a violent bombing, there are still a few who can live. Even if they can live, the fighting power they can exert is inevitably low. So they are going quite the way. Although it is not said that there is no tactical action at all, it is relatively relaxed. Seeing such a situation, there is no need for Zhang Yuan to tell what. The black shirt bodyguards who commanded the combat experience did not immediately shoot, but waited for those people to attack until they reached a certain distance. Hey! I saw one of the black men with a sniper rifle, and shot a middle-aged man with a big shot. This bearded man is a high-ranking leader in the terrorist group. When he died, his eyes were as big as a bell, and he couldn't believe he would die. And this person in the story, it is he who caught Tony Stark, and first threatened Tony Stark to make missiles, and in the case of Tony Stark does not cooperate, the life will be Tony Stark. The head is pressed inside the bucket for torture. With the death of the bearded man, other black people suddenly shot. Submachine gun, rocket. The grenades were all used by them, and the brains attacked the terrorists who came up. Although the terrorists are in the process of attacking, they are still ready to meet the resistance. But they just thought that it would be some scattered rebellion. They never thought that the attacks they would encounter were so fierce, that they were so violent that they could not believe it at all. Beach, submachine gun, massive grenade attack. This is exactly like the premeditated preparation of the line of sight, deliberately waiting for them to vote for the net. To evade. Call, beat me, kill them. A series of orders rang from the heads of some terrorists, followed by the terrorists, and then shunned with the black man and other bodyguards. I have to say that these black pepper bodyguards arranged by Zhang Zimin for this small pepper paws are not furnishings. Each other is definitely the elite of the elite. Although there are only 16 people, the 16 people face dozens of attacks without any downfall, and they continue to kill the terrorists on the other side. The shooting method is obviously very good. These guys look like they are exactly what Zhang Yuan said, and they are directed at us. In addition, damn, some of the equipment they use in their hands is actually the equipment of our Stark industry. I don't remember when I sold my weapons to terrorists. Tony Stark saw the black man and others attacking the terrorists. He looked at it and looked at the ugly opening. Please, Tony, can you not be so naive? Isn't this a normal thing, even if you don't sell things to terrorists? But there are still others, whether it's the black market or some of our other Stark industries. Antiques, high-rises, can do such things. Zhang Yuan sneered. This. Tony Stark's face sank, followed by a gun from his pocket, slammed his head, and fired at some of the terrorists who greeted him. Hey! Tony Stark fired 3 shots, 3 shots hit the terrorists, and suddenly killed 3 people. This is the first time Tony Stark murder, but although it is the first time to kill, but judging from the shooting method he used at this time, his shooting method is obviously quite good. And in fact it is. As the largest arms manufacturer in Country M, no matter what kind of weapons, Tony Stark will try it out before designing and creating it, so as to make some modifications and adjustments. Therefore, his shooting ability is naturally not weak. At the time of Tony Stark, Zhang Yuan saw his eyes smashed, and he shot the gun from his arms and fired at some terrorists. Result: the sound of the sound was heard, but Zhang Yuan was unable to hit anyone. He had never played a gun before, and the level of shooting is naturally impossible to go. Ha ha ha, man, your gunfare is really bad, so you didn't practice the shooting method before. Tony Stark saw Zhang Yuan's shooting method and suddenly laughed at Zhang Yuan. As he laughed, a bullet suddenly shot at his location. Don't want to die, don't be distracted. In this electric light flint, Zhang Yuan's use of spiders sensed the danger, and suddenly pulled a Tony Stark to let him hide behind the rocks again, and suddenly escaped the attack. If not Zhang Yuan's shot, Tony Stark was headshot. Shit! Tony Stark cursed and followed Zhang Yuan again. Zhang Yuan, you saved me again. As long as you don't make any more silly. Zhang Yuan glanced at Tony Stark. Chapter 16, Advancing with Gunfire. Hey! Booming! The gunshots and the roar of the bombs kept ringing. In a blink of an eye, Zhang Yuan and others fought with the terrorists who had rushed for 7 or 8 minutes. In these 7 or 8 minutes, there have been terrorist deaths. Zhang Yuan and Tony Stark did not suffer any injuries from beginning to end. Taking advantage of the super spider's induction, the super reaction speed, often in danger, Zhang Yuan will dodge the other side's attack for the first time. In addition, although Zhang Yuan is very stinky, he has also killed 2 terrorists under constant shooting. What happened? Why is it almost 10 minutes, and I haven't killed anyone yet, still fighting? On the hill with a certain distance from the battle position, a bald middle-aged man with a ring, at this time Ime is yelling at the people around him. While scolding, he took the telescope from the other's hand and looked at the battlefield. From this point of view, the face of the bald middle-aged person has become quite ugly. This bald middle-aged is obviously Asian. His name is Wang Qiu. He is a Chinese and a warlord. The reason why he will attack Tony Stark this time is that he has cooperated with Obadiah and Stan. Obadiah, Stan gave him a lot of money to kill Tony Stark. Of course, he didn't know that he was going to kill Tony Stark. Because of Obadiah, just tell him to let him ambush near the shooting range of this mountain range, and when they need to act, they will let them act for the first time. So they lie in the surroundings. Then, shortly before, he got Obadiah, Stan's command, let him kill the passing team, and one did not stay, so he did not ask anything to act. Originally he thought it was just a very simple transaction. Because he ambushed a lot of people around him, and also made a shell attack. First, the artillery shells are used to open the road, and then the ground troops are used to sweep. Under normal circumstances, no matter who is suddenly attacked, it will definitely be caught off guard, even for the Afghan military. Once caught being caught unprepared, the natural waiting for those people is the massacre. But now, this stepping horse is almost 10 minutes away. It is still fighting, and listening to the voice of this battle is obviously an extremely fierce weapon. The other party does not seem to be rushing to fight, but it seems to be prepared. Is it Yin? Wang Qiu's ugly curse screamed and followed the human being around him, give me a gunfire attack and bring all of them to me. Yes. After Wang Qiu's order, one of the terrorists quickly responded, and immediately ordered the artillery not far away to signal that they continued to fire. There were several mortars and remote cannons in that place. Almost at the first time of the order, the artillery fired, completely ignoring the place, and there were some people. Because Wang Qiu is their absolute leader. Usually the means are extremely cruel. Anyone who dares not listen to him will die very badly. Booming! Suddenly a series of shells locked the position of Zhang Yuan and others, and they were madly bombarded. When the shells attacked, Zhang Yuan's pupils violently contracted, and the spiders sensed his obvious perception of danger, which was even dangerous in the distant mountains. Be careful with the shell attack. Under the contraction of Jianjia Yuan's pupil, he quickly used communication to order the black man and others. Under his command, the black man and others did not have any doubts, and immediately found the object to hide again. Then I saw the artillery fire, and the shells continued to attack. The people who were killed by Zhang Yuan and others could not resist the enemy and could only evade. However, watching the terrorists' bombing posture has always been a thing that is not at all a thing. Sooner or later, it will be sad. Even with the cover of mountains and rocks, under the bombardment of artillery shells, their situation is becoming more and more dangerous. Among them, there have been black people who died under such intensive bombardment. There is no end to this. Zhang Yuan looked at the terrorists so bombarded, a bomb completely no money, the face could not help but gloomy, followed him around and looked less and less around the cover of the shelter, suddenly slammed Tony Stark to the side and flashed out. When he was dodging, he repeatedly escaped several shell attacks and then came to James Rhodey. "James, take care of Tony, I will kill the artillery camp." Listening to Zhang Yuan, Tony Stark and James Rhodey's eyes are all huge. "Zhang Yuan, although I don't know how you have some changes that I don't understand, but we have been fighting for a few minutes, and we have already notified the Afghan military. If we insist on it, there will be people from the military to rescue us. Nothing is going to take risks," Tony Stark said to Zhang Yuan. "But we can only insist on the arrival of the military. Now, in this case, the other party is eager to kill us, so that the attack will be bombarded. If we don't pay attention, we will all die. Here. Zhang Yuan Dao. This." Tony Stark changed his face. "Well, things are so fixed." Zhang Yuan Dao, after the words fell, followed by one of the black people who had been killed, "There is a black box not far from him, Zhang Yuan will give the box quickly open, I saw a lot of grenades inside." Seeing Zhang Yuan hand-held grenade hangs quickly toward the body, and a large number of grenades are hung on his body 3 or 2 times. Then he collects the box and then slams the box out of the shelter. After he went out, he saw Zhang Yuan's ingenuity and quickness, and quickly rushed toward the position where the artillery camp was located. His speed is very fast. Under his attack, Wang Qiu, who is holding a telescope very quickly, saw this situation. "What is the guy doing?" Seeing Zhang Yuan's strange situation, Wang Qiu stunned and followed the cold and ordered one of the people around him, "Give me a heavy weight." "Yes, leader." Someone quickly responded, and then he brought a Barrett sniper rifle to Wang Qiu. After the tennis player got the sniper rifle, he fell down and slammed the sniper rifle on the rock and followed Zhang Yuan. 2 kilometers, 1,800 meters, 1,600 meters, 1,300 meters. That is, when Zhang Yuan reached the position of 1,300 meters, Wang Qiu shot fiercely. Chapter 17, The grenade flew out 600 meters and bombed at a great distance. "Go to hell, chop." When Wang Qiu pulled the trigger, the expression on his face was quite embarrassing. He was very convinced of his own shooting method. Under this gun, the guy who didn't know where it came out was bound to die. Brush. However, just when Wang Qiu thought that Zhang Yuan, who had ran out, would die, he saw that Wang Qiu's figure suddenly flashed between the electric and the flint, and it was dangerous to hide the bullet. "Hey!" Then Barrett's heavy bullets passed through the position that Zhang Yuan had escaped, hitting the ground and blowing a small pit on the ground. "This is impossible." Wang Qiu's big eyes subconsciously whispered, followed by the face of the face, "Damn, is it a mutant person, or else how could it be so fast?" When Wang Qiu turned his mind, he saw Zhang Yuan escaped the attack and continued to attack. 1,200 meters, 1 kilometer, 800 meters. Under his rush, Wang Qiu continued to shoot at Zhang Yuan, but still could not hit Zhang Yuan, and soon Zhang Yuan ran to the position of 600 meters. That is, when Zhang Yuan reached the position of 600 meters, he saw Zhang Yuan slamming a grenade from his body, then unplugged the ring and threw the grenade. "Is this guy funny?" Seeing that Zhang Yuan threw a grenade at their position 600 meters away, Wang Chu's face subconsciously showed a ridiculous color, but in the next second of his face's expression change, he followed the body to the side. Roll, quickly leave the place. Boom. Then the incredible roar blew in the hill where they were. Zhang Yuan, although standing at 600 meters away, actually threw his hand to the hill. It is not something that normal people can do at all. It is necessary to know that Wang Yuqiu knows that ordinary soldiers throwing grenade is also a few tens of meters. Even some super powerful people can break 100 meters, which is considered a super inferior, and can be regarded as a strong man. These 600 meters in front. What is this concept of him? Zhang Yuanke ignored the shock of Wang Chu in the end. He saw that he had thrown a grenade. The obvious bombardment was in the approximate position that he wanted to throw. Zhang Yuan's eyes flashed in a cold flash. Let you step on the horse and continue to give it to me. Bombing, now let you also try the taste of bombing. Then Zhang Yuan followed and picked up a grenade from his body again, pulled out the pull ring and continued to throw it up. 1, 2, 3. Zhang Yuan held the grenade and kept throwing it. Every shot hit the top of the mountain. Under his attack, he quickly caused a chain explosion reaction. One of Jian Yuan's grenade was blown up on the mountain top. Some of the shells above. Suddenly. Booming. The landslides and cracks, the deafening explosions screamed wildly, and the artillerymen on the artillery positions, many of them had no time to escape, they were killed. Even Wang Chu, who had escaped Zhang Yuan's attack at the beginning, was hit by a bomb and was blasted out. However, Wang Chu's life was so big that he was not killed after he was bombed. He was seriously injured, but even so, he would lie on the ground, unable to move anything at all. The injury was too serious, and there were a lot of shrapnel on his body. If you can't get timely treatment, you will die. This guy is really my brother and brother, Zhang Yuan? It will not be given the package by any variant. When Zhang Yuan used the grenade to bomb the mountain artillery position, Tony Stark was from a black dress. In the hands of a person, he took a telescope and paid attention to the situation at hand. On the other hand, it was an incredible exclamation. The expression on the face was eccentric. How strange it was. Before today, he really didn't know that his brother had such weird power. And they also fight yesterday. If Zhang Yuan had such a strong force at that time, then he would only be as simple as a panda eye. Or, Zhang Yuan, the guy who was attacked by the violent attackers last night, was so intense that he suddenly changed. He awakened the superpower. Fuck, if so, is it because of me? It's going to be punctured and irritated. Fortunately, I and Zhang Yuan are the same blood. The same gene, he can mutate, I can reasonably be able to mutate. If it really mutates, the ability to do so can be improved a lot at once, and then flying, and even 10 or 8 nights are not a problem. Thinking like this, Tony Stark looked at Zhang Yuan's eyes and couldn't help but get hot. For Tony Stark, he has 3 major preferences in his life. Design inventions, eat hamburgers, and pretend to pick up girls. If you can make that aspect stronger. Of course he also wants to mutate. Chapter 18, Return, Anger, and Kill. After Zhang Yuan slammed for a while, he found that the shelling on the artillery position was completely stopped, and there was no movement, as if everyone had died. When he saw him, he hesitated a little, followed by a few bombs on the other side, and then he walked into the position of Tony Stark and others. He didn't check if the people above were all dead. Because no matter whether they have completely died, the impact on him is not great. And Zhang Yuan deeply remembers such a plot. That is a special soldier story he had seen before. A special commander named Fan Tianli, after the teammates around him hit the enemy, he ran to check whether the other party died or not, saying that it was necessary to look at the other party's dead. Result. The man was not dead, and he was stunned by Fan Tianli's negligence, and he injured Fan Tianli's leg, and if it was only this, he also killed his comrade in arms because of Fan Tianli. So even Zhang Yuan is very powerful at this time. But Zhang Yuan does not think that he is invincible. He is very clear that his strength is nothing in today's Marvel world. There are too many characters in the world of Marvel, and there are too many high-tech. No one can say if these terrorists have any cards in front of them. After all, Zhang Yuan knows that Wang Chu is not only a traitor who cooperates with Opera to deal with Tony Stark, but he is also a big villain in Marvel. Under such circumstances, Zhang Yuan is not prepared to check the body or something. The most important thing today is to leave with Tony Stark and others. Hey, man, you are a bunker. After Zhang Yuan returned to the position of Tony Stark and others, he saw Tony Stark smashed his hand at the Hungarian mouth of Zhang Yuan. He was proud and happy. All right, Zhang Yuan said with a smile. Is this still okay? Tony Stark was speechless. I still don't say this first. Although I have already killed a lot of terrorists and the artillery positions have been killed, as far as I know, there are quite a lot of people in this gang. Let's leave here and say, lest the horror behind. Molecular correction. Zhang Yuan Dao. Afraid of what? Your strength is so big, you can throw your thunder out at such a long distance, with the ability to throw grenade like you, before our grenade is consumed, how much is dead? Tony Stark Dao, in addition, you just watched your shots and you forgot to take pictures. If there are terrorists appearing again, just take a few chapters for you. When you pass to the face, it just rises. Forget it, I don't want your high profile. Zhang Yuan did not take a good look at Tony Stark, and then with the side of James Rhodey, the speed of the take with Tony Stark and others left in situ. Not long after they left, there were large-scale terrorists who came to the battle position where they were. These people are also fully armed. When they came to the position of the battle, they saw Wang Chu, who was badly wounded. They were quite shocked. Then they quickly saved Wang Chu back and refused to kill Zhang Yuan and others. On the other hand, the Afghan military also sent combat helicopters to find Zhang Yuan and others. When they found Zhang Yuan and others, they immediately took Zhang Yuan and others safely. Then the military leaders of Afghanistan, especially the military representatives who had conducted arms deals with Zhang Yuan and others, expressed their deep regret at Zhang Yuan and others. After all, this time, it was not long after the fish and their Afghan military transactions. Even after the transaction is over, the two sides of the transaction are actually clear, and all the accidents are strange. But this is, after all, a site in Afghanistan. And not far from the shooting range. Under such circumstances, they naturally inevitably apologize. They didn't want to offend Tony Stark at all, and offended the country. For these people's apologies, Zhang Yuan and Tony Stark did not bother them. After a slight enthusiasm, he returned to the military's airport with the Afghan military, and then did not stop anything, and flew back to the country of M on a private jet. Although the Afghan military wants to entertain Tony Stark and others, but also knows that such unpleasant things have happened, it is normal for Tony Stark to rush to return to the country of M. After returning to the country of M, Tony Stark and Zhang Yuan were separated from James Rhodey. Then the black man intercepted the media personnel who wanted to interview Tony Stark, and then returned directly to the seaside villa. There are a lot of media people. That was the powerful news search capability of the media. After Tony Stark and others were attacked, these things were quickly known to them. At that time, the large-scale bombing of that place caused the noise but could not hold back some people. Zhang Yuan said, "What is the situation with you? How come the power has become so big, and the reaction ability has become so strong? Honestly, Zhang Yuan, are you mutated, and those variants? Like people, it has become a mutant." Upon returning to the villa, Tony Stark ordered Jarvis to block anyone's visit, then took 2 bottles of beer from the refrigerator, handed it to a bottle of Zhang Yuan, and sat on the sofa while drinking. Said, That is, when Tony Stark asked Zhang Yuan, at this time, Opati Yastin also learned the news of the return of Zhang Yuan and others. When he knew such a thing, his face became quite ugly. In the eyes, there is a terrible killing and anger. Chapter 19. Guide Iron Man to make portable armor. In cooperation with Wang Qiu, Opati Yastin is 100% believe that Tony Stark and others have died, but now they are returning to the country of M, which is really damn. At the same time of anger, Opat is also sneer in his heart. Since they have already dealt with the guys of Tony Stark and Zhang Yuan once, then he has no possibility of closing. Next, it is best not to be seized by him. Once he seizes the opportunity, he will definitely continue to deal with Zhang Yuan and Tony Stark. Of course, the most important thing is to deal with Tony Stark, Zhang Yuan, or whatever. A waste wood is simply a countermeasure to his side, not worth mentioning. But Opati Yastin never imagined that his plan would go wrong this time, and that Tony Stark would not even leave a little injury, that is, Zhang Yuan, which he simply looked down on. How do you say, you can treat me as a variation? Listening to Tony Stark, Zhang Yuan shrugged. Is it really mutated? Go to the lab with me, I want to check your physical condition. Tony Stark's eyes lit up, followed by Jianjia Yuan's side, to drag Zhang Yuan to him private research room to conduct certain research checks. Go. Zhang Yuan did not refrain from anything, and followed Tony Stark to the laboratory of the seaside villa. The lab is blocked by Tony Stark as a strict place. The protection of this place is very strong, without his authorization, no one else can enter this place. After coming to the laboratory, Tony Stark immediately took out some of his side, checked the body for Zhang Yuan, and extracted the blood samples of Zhang Yuan. At the same time, Ming Gli Jarvis conducted auxiliary observations and calculations. Under the toss of Tony Stark, Zhang Yuan is fully coordinated. After half an hour, all the toss ends. When all the toss is over, Tony Stark is wide-eyed and looks at the body data report on Zhang Yuan on a virtual screen in front of him. It is written that Zhang Yuan's physical fitness is dozens of times that of ordinary humans. There is a tremendous power in the body. In theory, it can play 100 times or even hundreds of times more combat power than ordinary people. In addition, Jianjia Yuan's nerve reaction, speed, and what is quite fast. How did you mutate? And immediately told me about the situation at the time. No, so we are two brothers, you can mutate, no reason I can't mutate. Tony Stark observed the data of Zhang Yuan followed by the hot, said to Zhang Yuan. Although I don't want to attack you, but you can't mutate it, of course, unless you are willing to use some genetic agents or something. Zhang Yuan glanced at Tony Stark, followed by undecided. If I haven't tried it, how can I be sure that I can't mutate? As for the genetic agent, don't think that I don't know it. I know a lot of people who know the genetic agents under the private, but only the beauty team is perfect. The power of the absorption of genetic agents, the genetic agent was named Super Serum by the secret department, and its complete Super Serum has long had no relevant data. Once some of the disabled versions are used, it is very easy to go wrong. I don't want to be unscrupulous and lose my mind. Tony Stark glanced at Zhang Yuan without a good guess. Then I have no choice. Zhang Yuan spread his hands. There is always a way. Then you follow me a few more studies, I don't believe it, I can't crack the mystery. Tony Stark's eyes flashed. Get it, your main occupation is to design weapons, make high-tech equipment, not to study any genetics. If you really want to have strength, I have a path that is very suitable for you. Zhang Yuan interrupted Tony Stark Hideo. Oh? What way? Tony Stark asked curiously. Arc reaction furnace. Zhang Yuan eyes a glimpse. What do you mean? Tony Stark, who has not been captured by the terrorists, has not thought about designing steel armor. With the arc reactor as the energy core, manufacturing portable armor, with your ability, I believe that you will be able to come up with an extremely powerful super equipment. Zhang Yuandao. Well. Tony Stark slammed into the chin and touched his chin with his hand. Portable mech? It seems to have some meaning. As far as speed and flying ability are concerned, when the protagonist does not extract similar flying ability, it is definitely good to hurry. Chapter 20, Debunked Portable Exoskeleton Armor. Of course it's interesting. You think about this situation. If we had a portable armor at the time, where it would be suppressed by the terrorists, it would be possible to use Jarvis as a smart center to lock the artillery of those people. The camp, they are extremely sharply attacked by them. In addition, you can fly directly to the sky and deal with them at high altitude. If you have created such a thing, then you will meet terrorists in the future. Even if you don't have a bodyguard, you can handle it. And you don't think that such things are very pretentious, quite in line with your Sayabao, high-profile character. Tony Stark of Zhang Yuan smiles. Oh, then make a portable armor. In fact, I have never had some ideas in this regard before, but if it is manufactured, it is super strategic equipment, and it is easy for us to have a certain impact on Stark Industries. Tony Stark. Would you be afraid? Zhang Yuandao. How is it possible? I just don't want to bother, but this time the terrorists are so arrogant, and they are attacking me with my weapon. It's just looking for death. Tony Stark retorted without hesitation, while retorting, face there was an anger on the side. He is really angry. After saying this, Tony Stark suddenly looked at Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan, you honestly explain, do you know the people behind the terrorists who attacked us? Although in my capacity, it seems normal to be attacked by terrorists. But in fact, as long as those terrorists don't have long-term pumping, they won't be blamed for me. So, no problem, they are behind people, they don't know if they are some countries, or some very large horrors. Molecules, or commercial rivals that compete with our Stark industry. It's my brother. Zhang Yuan praised Tony Stark and followed, you are right, I really know the behind-the-scenes hand on us. Who is it? Tony Stark said awkwardly. Opadiya, Stan. Zhang Yuandao. It's him. How is this possible? Tony Stark got a shock, then exclaimed, his face was unbelievable. What is impossible? In Stark Industries, besides you, he is the biggest shareholder of Stark Industries. If you and I die, Stark Industries is naturally under his control. In addition, Tony, you still in his way. Who do you think is the one who sold the weapons you designed to the terrorists, and whoever can be in addition to Opadiya? Perhaps in your eyes, you think that you designed weapons to save a lot of people, make the United States stronger, and let terrorists even dare not make it. But in fact, in the eyes of others, you are the notorious killer butcher, one of the most murderous executioners in history. There are too many people who die under the weapons you design. However, in the case of indirect killing of many people, it has been to prevent Stark Industries from cooperating with terrorists and cooperating with people of unknown origin. This makes Opadiya only secretly trade behind the scenes. Although still very profitable, it has always been limited. As an arms dealer, he didn't want to be passive. After all, other arms dealers can sell equipment as long as they have money. Zhang Yuan was undecided and glanced at Tony Stark. This. Tony Stark was provoked by Zhang Yuan for a time. He was extremely powerful and shocked him so that he could not accept it for a while. He has always been a messenger of peace, and he is also a peace ambassador. But now Zhang Yuan is telling him that he is one of the most powerful executioners in history. How can this be accepted? Okay, Tony, don't think about these things for a while, things have already happened, and it doesn't matter if you think about it. Then you can quickly build a portable armor for exoskeleton. In addition, before you build an exoskeleton portable armor, first, I will create some weight-bearing equipment for me. Although I have a strong power now, I have not been able to fully exert my physical potential. Zhang Yuan patted Tony Stark's shoulder and said. Well, it's true that the skeletal portable armor should be made first. Tony Stark sighed with a sigh, followed by nodding, and then did not say anything, and began to design weight-bearing equipment for Zhang Yuan, while also painting. I got some design drawings about the portable armor of the exoskeleton. Since it is called portable, Tony Stark's positioning of the exoskeleton armor is naturally based on portability. However, this is also the hardest step in the design of the exoskeleton armor. Throughout the Marvel story, except for Tony Stark, it is difficult for others to create a portable exoskeleton armor. End of the chapter. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.